Fantastic stuff. All right. Well, good evening, ladies and gents. Hope everyone is doing well. How's everyone getting on? It's good to see you all. Another Transformation Tuesday. A little while, but we are here. We are here. And it's not going to be a very, very long call, guys and girls, right? It's not going to be a very, very long call. And I want it to be, a sweet, slick, short, snappy conversation, right? I just want you to imagine that we are at a lounge somewhere, just sitting down and having a conversation. All right. When it comes down to Transformation Tuesday calls, this is all about mindset. It is all about psychology, general life principles that can help you to really take your life to the next level. We always want to make sure that we are well-rounded because we understand that trading and business is more than just pressing a few buttons. And it requires an elite mentality, right? It requires elite mentality to really see the results that many of us that are here are looking for. You understand? So, with that being said, I want to hit you with a few points, right? Just a few, very, very short, snappy points. Um, Obviously, make notes, and then reflect on the information when the call is done. So if that sounds good, guys, drop some two-to-twos in the chat box, and we'll get into the information. Yeah, awesome stuff, fantastic. All right, cool. So let's get into it. So a couple of points, right? Just a couple of points for you guys to reflect on for this particular transformation Tuesday. I'm just letting some more people into the room. But yeah, just a few themes, right? A few themes that have been on my mind, have been on my heart, conversations that I have had, things that have been shared online, which I really wanted to bring to you guys as well. We know that this journey is about growth, it's about personal development. And, when you come into our organization, right, many of you, who have been here for a while now, you understand that our mission is more than just to help you to make money, right? We really want you to grow as a person, to grow as an individual, because we understand that as you grow, your money will grow, right? As you change, things will change for you. Wasn't it Jim Rohn who said that if you would get better, then everything around you will get better. If you will change, then everything around you will change for the better. And so we definitely want you to grow in all areas. We're all growing, right? We're all growing, me included, right? We all have things to work on, things to improve, things to develop. And it is said that if you are not growing, that you are really dying. You understand? If you're not improving, if you're not looking to um, elevate, if you're not looking to make forward progress, then you're really retracting, right? And so the first point, okay, the first point I really want to give you all today is to not take for granted, okay, what you have been blessed with in your life. Okay. Don't take for granted what you have been blessed with in your life. Some of you have heard this saying that, you don't know what you've got until it's got. Drop a one in the chat box if you've ever heard that statement before. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I see a couple of you saying ones. Yeah. And it's true. Guys and girls, you don't know what you've got until it is gone. And when we take for granted what we have been given, we are operating in a state of complacency. Write this down. Those of you making notes. Complacency kills. Okay. This is the truth. Complacency kills. When it comes down to this opportunity with Vision Traders Group, JIFU, making money from your smartphone, making money in the modern age, to be honest, right? And making money on this platform, you don't want to treat this as if it is a lottery ticket. I've never played the lottery myself, right? But I know that when you play the lottery, okay, you give your money over, right? In the hopes that by you doing nothing, that money is going to appear in your account in abundance. And for the very small, minute people on this planet, all right, who have won the lottery, okay, we understand that the probabilities of winning the lottery are very, very, very minimal. We can all agree, yes? Yeah, drop a two if you agree with that. Right? And so this opportunity is not a lottery ticket. It is not something that you pay for and just expect for money and results to magically appear in your account and in your life. You actually have to put some effort in. And I know for some of you, this sounds very, very, very basic. But the reality is that it needs to be said and we need reminding. And I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Don't treat this as a lottery ticket and don't take for granted what you have been given. Because many of you, you've come here for a particular reason. Okay. I don't know what that reason is for some of you. Some of you I do know, some of you I don't know. But you came here for a reason. You came here for a purpose. Whether it's bills, freedom to quit your job, um, to pay off some debts, give your children a life that you never had, whatever the reason. Okay. It is going to take effort. It is going to take time. And many of the things that you're trying to accomplish, many people on this planet have not accomplished. So it's going to take work, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take you plugging in. Right now, as you've heard me say before, the results that we are seeing on a consistent basis, we've been here over a month now. These are the best overall results that we have seen in the space of 6 years. Right now, if you don't find a way to make this work, I know for many of you, you're making it work, you're seeing the results, you're plugging in. Fantastic. Congratulations to you. But for the few who may not be plugging in, if you don't find a way to make this work for you, I mean, it's not going to get any easier than what it is that we have. We are talking about pasting some numbers from one app into another app. We're talking about plugging into live sessions and following directions, right? We're talking about taking advantage of a video that has been kindly prepared for you, kindly provided for you, watching as many times as necessary, and then you going away, practicing it, implementing it so that you can potentially change your life. This is huge. This is no small thing. So don't take what you have for granted because it is truly an opportunity of a lifetime. And beyond just money, because this relates to every other area of your life. As I've just said, don't take for granted what you've been blessed with. You have all been blessed with health. If you take actions, right, that consciously jeopardize your health, you're taking for granted what you've been blessed with. Right? Some of you guys, guys and girls, you know your habits. You know activities you participate in that you partake in, and you know that this is not conducive for your overall longevity. Friends, you have family who love you, who look to you, and you want to make sure that you are around. If I'm making any sense, if you guys are hearing me, drop some threes in the chat. You see, like I said, this is more than just money, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Some of you, maybe you don't have people around you to tell you about this stuff, but we're going to tell you in VTG. Because we understand that we are on this earth for a mission, for a purpose, and our time is short. Sometimes, we forget that time is short, that we only have so much time on this earth. So we've got to live with intentionality, right? And as I've said, if we consciously make decisions and choices that jeopardize our finances, our health, our relationships, whatever it is, right, our business, then we're taking for granted what we've been blessed with. And we are operating in a state of complacency. And before you know it, things that you would ordinarily want to hold on for dear life, you now lose. As I said before, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And at any given point in time, life can hit you dead smack in the face and your life can be utterly turned upside down. Are you guys hearing me? I said online that the time to make money is not when you are in dire need of money. The time to actually make money is when things are stable. Now, if you are in dire need of money, you're here. Of course, you're here now. It is what it is, right? But really and truly, we should not put ourselves in positions where we are now in desperate need for money, right? And like I said, I don't know people's situations. I don't know people's stories. And obviously, it is also a blessing that we have access to be able to do certain things like GoFundMe's. But really and truly, why allow your financial situation to get to a state where you now have to utilize GoFundMe's? I'm talking to someone here. Is this too much, guys? Let me know. Is this too much? Can I be real? Can I be real? Can I go on? Hmm? Because some people are not, they're not going to have this conversation. But in VTG, we're going to have this conversation. The time to work on your health is not when you now have a doctor's report that you only have so much time to live now. That is not the time to cut out things that you ought to be cut out from your life. That is not the time to be working on your health and say, okay, I'm going to make a change now. Why? Why? You know, I remember I was listening to a multi-millionaire. His name is Brian Damaso. He was a mentee of Bob Proctor, right? And Bob Proctor was a mentee of El Nightingale, um, a mentee of Carnegie and all of these individuals who wrote Think and Grow Rich. Um, and in El Nightingale's audio, The Strangest Secret, which many of you guys who are building the business right now are listening to, in the audio, it says that the problem with humanity is that people don't think. Lack of money, lack of wealth, lack of finances is a thinking problem. It's actually a thinking problem, right? And if we were truly thinking, there's so many activities that we would not participate in whatsoever. We just wouldn't because we're thinking. And this is also why the book is called Think and Grow Rich. It is your thinking that leads to your results. It is your thinking that leads to your life. If you are not happy with any area of your life and where your life is right now, the most paramount thing to check and to change is the way in which you think. You cannot afford to continue to think the way you currently think. And you must allow yourself to be challenged in your thoughts by someone who has what it is that you don't have. And that takes humility. Humility will lead the way to prosperity and to success. This is why it says in the good book, pride comes before destruction. No one can't tell me nothing. I want to do things my way, or the highway. Okay. And the question I always ask people is, how's that working for you? My way, my way, my way, been doing my way for God knows how many years. How has that worked for you? If the answer is that it hasn't worked or it's not working, then allow yourself to change the way you think so that you can live a new life. If this is making sense and I'm helping anybody in school, drop a 222 in the chat box. Complacency kills, ladies and gents. Don't be complacent with this opportunity. Don't be complacent with this business, with trading and copy and pasting and plugging into the scanner. Don't be complacent with your health. You lose your health, it's over. And now people are now having to fend for themselves when you could have been around longer, but you are playing with your health, right? Don't be complacent with your loved ones. Don't be complacent with the things that money can't buy. Does that make sense? In other words, ladies and gents, write this down. Change before you have to. Those you making notes. Change before you have to. That is one of the most wisest things that you can do, is put yourself in a position where you are preventing instead of curing. Why? Because prevention is better than cure. Make as much money as you can whilst you have breath, because you don't know what disaster will inevitably happen, because life is cyclical. There are seasons. There will be good times, there will be down times. Wise people prepare for the winter. They ain't just spending their money willy-nilly. They've got savings, they have investments, right? They plug in. Guys, some of you know my story, some of you, many of you do not, but some of you do. Guys, if I had not taken this opportunity seriously 6.5 years ago, some of the hell that I have been through, I would not have been able to have afforded to be able to survive the hell that I've been through. I've had conversations with individuals, people who have been through, or people who know people who have been through the stuff that I've been through. I now know the number has increased. I now know 3 people who have actually committed suicide, having gone through some of the stuff, in fact, the same stuff that I've gone through. Do you know a part of the reason that people take themselves out of the game is because of a feeling of hopelessness? Oh, this is I didn't think I was gonna go this deep, but it's because of a feeling of hopelessness. Would you agree, right, that having more money gives you options? Some of you are now saying, oh, but there are people who have taken themselves out of the game and they're rich. Absolutely. Because watch this. No money is a problem. Only money is a problem. Does this make sense, guys? I'll say that again. No money, major problem. Only money, major problem. Does that make sense? Exactly. Sometimes some of you have seen in my stories, I say hashtag all areas. All areas. In fact, it came out, like I said, we're having a conversation, just imagine we're sitting down in a pub or in a lounge somewhere, right? I saw a story yesterday. One of an elite business mogul, right? He just done an exit for about 985 million, right? 985 million. You know what this guy said? He said, I have my freedom. I have uh, everything that money can buy, and all of this stuff. But I feel a sense of purposelessness now that I've done this exit. Because guys and girls, it is about 2 things: income and impact. Write that down. It is about income and impact. If all you see, when you just can we talk? Can we talk, guys and girls? Let me know. Can we talk today? Like I said, I don't want to keep it too long, but can we talk? You see, right now you need money. Absolutely, go and get your money. But there will come a point you will realize, listen, this is not enough. You see, say you make all the money in the world from trading, all the money in the world from trading. You didn't help no one. Who's coming to your funeral? I don't want to share this with no one. I don't want to tell anyone. I'm scared of how people will think of me. Hmm? I want to keep this to myself. It's got to work for me first. You can't keep it because you know there are people in your life that need more, but you don't want to share. You know there are 8 billion people on this planet. Do you know someone who's poor needs more money and someone who's rich wants more money? What we have is actually a service to all of humanity. You got to think this thing through. See, when you combine trading and network marketing, now you make your money, but you're also impacting lives. You get best of both worlds. You get your freedom, you get your finance, you get your fulfillment. Write that down. Freedom, finance, fulfillment. All of these things are important, right? The testimonials that come through because of the work that you have done, because of the service that you have done. Write this down. Service to many leads to greatness. You want to be great? You've got to be a servant. Who are you helping? Who are you impacting? How are you contributing to humanity? Right? Now, I know I've gone off on a tangent, but all of this stuff is important. So, guys, don't be complacent with what you have. Take advantage of what you've been blessed with, what you have bought into. Maximize your earning capacity in trading, in this business, because you don't know what disaster is going to happen. Take control of your health, right? Appreciate your loved ones, because you don't know what disaster will happen. If I'm making sense, I'm helping anyone in this call, drop a 222 in this chat box. Good stuff. Awesome. And then the last point, and we'll roll out. Like I said, I don't want to keep you guys too long. Okay. Last point. Some of you, maybe you've heard of this statement. It's a book. You can check this out. And it really highlights just one key point, one key takeaway, and it is that the obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the way. You want to be successful, well, not to shy away from problems. Problems are your best friend. But not to shy away from problems. Problems are your best friend. Problems equals pay. Problems equals pay. You're paid to solve problems. Your life will get better the better you get at being a problem solver. Learn to change your language from words like I can't to how can I. When you say how can I, what happens next? Your mind now starts working. In other words, you start thinking. What is the name of the book? Write in the chat box. What's the name of the book? Think and grow rich. If you don't want to think, you can forget about growing rich. Oh, this is good teaching. If you don't want to solve problems, you can forget about growing rich. If at the first sign of hurdles, and you know, some of you, you've grown up and have made this into a habit that you now shy away from problems or obstacles and you give up at the first sign of difficulty, this must change. You now step into VTG, we're going to challenge you to change and to grow. There is no give up. There is no throw the towel in. Right? The obstacle is the way. Right? Imagine if we had been if we had been developed, if we had been programmed to think this sort of way, how many more people would still be here right now? How can we solve this? How can we get through this? How can we overcome this? How many more relationships would still be intact? How can we figure this out together? How can we get through this together? Solutions orientated mindset. Solutions orientated mindset. This is the mentality that we must have if you want to be successful, if you want to make it in this group and on this platform and in any endeavor, really and truly. Right? Sometimes, you know, we find ourselves coming up with all kinds of excuses. Oh, I need to pause. I need to stop. I need to do this. I need to... Listen, the reason why you can't is the reason why you must. Always remember, someone, somewhere on this planet has gone through what you've gone through, maybe even worse, and still found a way to make it out the other side. There is absolutely nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new. Always think someone has been through this before. In trading, someone has been through this before and overcame. In this business, someone has been through this before and overcame. In personal problems, someone has been through this before and overcame. Now, it may not feel like, trust me, I can speak to myself, it may not feel like it at the time. It may not feel nice, of course. You may feel like you're the only one going through it. You know, who can testify here that, you know, you'll be going through some stuff and it feels like you're the only person. No one understands what you're going through. It's just you, yourself, and you know, it can feel that way. But really and truly, that's your mind. And the mind tends to exacerbate problems more than what they really are. And we have to learn to take control of our minds, ladies and gents. It will feel like we're the only ones going through, but here's the reality. Someone has been through what you've been through and they overcame. Those who are making notes, you know, you will not be the first. Right? You're not going to be the first. You won't be the last. And as a means of encouragement, when you see other people succeeding, you see these profit screenshots, you see these business ranks getting popped, you see reconciliation, you see all kinds of stuff going on. If they can, I can. Write that down. Write it down in the chat. If they can, I can. If he can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. They know something I don't know. They have done something I have not yet done. They know something I do not yet know. They've done something I have not yet done. And time also needs to pass. Everything is a process. Everything is a process. That is a law. There is nothing that occurs without process. And process requires patience. There is nothing that occurs that is in existence that just happens. It's process. You know, some of you don't believe in creation, no problem. That's fine, no problem. That's a false belief. But you know, even the Lord didn't even do the world in one day. It says 7 days, 6 days creation, and then 7th day he rested. What is that? Process. Even if you believe it happened over millions of years. How many years? Millions. Right? Process. So be patient with your process. You seeing someone else with 3 figures, 4 figures, 5 figures, be patient with that process. You're seeing someone else here in big ranks, be patient with that process. You can't skip the process and you can't shortcut the shortcut. Oh, hello, somebody. You cannot shortcut the shortcut. This opportunity is a shortcut. I've been doing this for 6.5 years. I was going to work a job for 40 years anyway. Oh, hello, somebody. I was going to have to work a job for 40 years anyway. 5 years to make multiple 6 figures doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. Guys, if it took you 5 years to make 6 figures in business or in trading, does that sound like a bad deal to you? Drop a 1 in the chat if that doesn't sound bad. Because you are going to have to work a job for 50 years anyway. You're going to have to work a job for 50 years anyway. So fail, learn, improve, adjust, adapt, make the mistakes. You go again, you try again, you pick yourself up, learn, change, adapt, grow. Go through the process. It's a process. This is the way of the successful. Because to not go through this process leads to a mediocre or an average life. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But the key is to be real with oneself. If you want the best, it is going to take a process. Does that make sense? Guys, if I've helped anybody on this call, drop a 777 in the chat box. That's me. I am done. I appreciate every single one of you. Like I said, listen, you come to VTG, it is more than just pressing buttons. We're here to take your life to another level, right? This is about mission. This is about purpose. Don't take for granted what you have been blessed with. Take advantage of what you have been given. Plug in, right? You know, there are people who watch what happened. There are people who wonder what happened. And there are people who make things happen. Find a way. Be resolute. All right. Guys, when we close the call, go back into the community chat of Discord and drop one takeaway that you've got from the call so we can bless someone else and remind them to be on these calls in future. But much love to you guys. Those of you building the business, let's get back to our 90-day run. Those of you plugging into trading, go ahead, do your thing, and let's make it happen. All right. God bless, guys. Take care. All the best. Bye.